Okay, I've got a great show for you today. I have back one of our favorite guests to help us not only understand what is going on in America, but also how to improve America. Brigitte Gabriel, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me with you, Stephen. Your show is awesome. Your audience is awesome. And I'm delighted to be back with you.
Oh, thank you so much. I love them as well. Let me give some background just for those that are joining us here live. Brigitte is a political, cultural, and national security commentator. She survived her childhood in the Middle East by living in an 8 by 10 bomb shelter. She is regularly called on to talk about some of the biggest stories affecting America on the news. And she is the head of Act for America and my special guest today. I'll let people know about actforamerica.org down below. But Brigitte, the first thing that's very, very concerning for me is even though I don't personally like ABC News, they had a poll out which showed that 90% of Americans believe that Joe Biden is unfit to be president of the United States. Why? What is your thoughts on that? Why such a high percentage? Why is he flopping and failing so bad in the eyes of Americans?
Well, Stephen, first of all, it is wonderful that actually this poll is coming out of ABC News, not Fox News, because it goes to show you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all people all the time. After 3 years of the Biden's presidency, despite what the left sold the American public, oh, he's wonderful Grandpa Joe. He's served in the country. He's got relations overseas. He's going to make our country great with other leaders because he gets along with them. He's got relationships with them. Well, Americans were sold a lie. And today, most Americans, the Democrats in particular, are looking around and saying, we are dragged into wars we do not want to be a part of. I mean, we are dragged into wars in Ukraine, and now we are dragged into wars with Israel between Hamas and Gaza. Now, whether people agree with this war or not, you have even Jewish like Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders talking about, and they are Jewish, not liking the way our government is being involved in this war and their support to Netanyahu. So you've got the Democratic base thinking, oh my gosh, crime is on the rise, murder is on the rise, the border. I mean, right now, democratic cities like New York City are suffering from the influx of illegal criminal aliens who are now on the streets. They are no longer just contained in hotels. Right now, they have become squatters in homes. I mean, look what just happened in New York with the home in Brooklyn where they or in the Bronx, where the illegal immigrants had taken over the home. They had drugs, they had weapons, they even had a child. So now Americans, including the Democrats, are looking around and saying, we don't like all the illegal immigrants in Chicago, in New York, in Los Angeles. We don't like them anywhere in the country. We don't like them in Martha's Vineyard. Remember that? What happened when they were shipped to the Hamptons. So now the Democrats are saying, we don't like this. We don't like him. Obviously, he is senile. Everybody can see that. Even if you like Joe Biden, everybody can see that it's not the same. Joe Biden has changed. And that's why there's a great disconnect and they do not want him.
Yeah, it's sad to see what's going on, but it's kind of reassuring to see people waking up, realizing, wait a minute, I've been sold a bag of goods that does not meet
Right.
what I thought I was getting. And you
Right.
see this among the Black community, other minority communities. They're saying, wait a minute, when was the last time they did anything for us? And
That's right.
I want to touch on the illegal immigration thing in a minute, but last night, Wisconsin had two huge wins for Republicans, and I'm hoping that this will roll out nationwide. But the first one was that Republicans took a mayor seat that has traditionally been Democrat. In fact, during the election, that county, that area was won by 9 points in Biden's favor. And now it's completely swung back to the right. They're saying, no, we want somebody from the Republican Party in. We want somebody that has conservative values, family values, puts our country first. The other thing was they are now voting to block ZuckerBucks. For those that don't know, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook personally, privately put over $400 million into the 2020 election, with over 90% of that going to getting Joe Biden in office, and the majority of that $400 million going to the swing states. He essentially bought the election for Joe Biden. What are your thoughts on these two big wins for the Republican Party?
Oh, it's amazing. And can I give myself a pat on the back? Okay, because we are the ones who helped pass the bill to block ZuckerBucks, and now we have done it in 27 states. 27. We passed it in Wisconsin, was the latest yesterday. We passed it in Arizona. We passed it in North Carolina. We are passing it in different states. People can go to actforamerica.org right now. Click on Get Involved. You'll see Secure Our Elections. You click on that, and you'll be able to see when the ZuckerBucks block comes up, all the states that we have been able to pass it in. Today, we are adding Wisconsin. We are so excited. Look, we have been working very hard to make sure that we mobilize in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a very important state. And with the mayor election, people realize crime is on the rise. I mean, look, it's the mayor that tells the police to stand down. The people don't realize that. It's city council who votes on defunding the police. It's the mayor that tells the police to stand down. So the people of Wisconsin are realizing crime is at an all-time high. Lawlessness is at an all-time high. They have had enough. And that's why we got behind the mayor. We were able to elect the mayor. And the great news is we were able to pass the Stop ZuckerBucks funding bill. And this bill basically states, and we started working on this, Stephen, immediately after the 2020 election. After we learned what Zuckerberg has done, over $400 million funding drop boxes, ballot boxes across the nation. And we realized if we were going to have any chance of winning in 2024, we have to stop private funding of elections. So whether it's Zuckerberg, whether it's Bezos, whether it's Bill Gates, it doesn't matter what mega billionaire on the side of the left, they cannot just buy elections or impact election the way Zuckerberg did. So we started in 2020, we introduced the bill and started passing it in different states. I think the first year we passed it in 13 states, and we continued pushing. That's why in the 2022 elections, the mid-year elections, you did not hear anything about ballot drop boxes, because we had already passed it in 23 states by 2022 elections. And so you didn't hear anything about it. So now we are pushing very hard, trying to just do the domino effect with the remainder of the states. I think we've got about 22 states left right now. We're working on it, but at least we covered all the swing states, and Wisconsin was the latest win. So again, I encourage people listening to us right now, if my message resonates with you, if you want to make a difference, go to actforamerica.org right now. Sign up to receive our emails and action alert. It's under Get Involved. They are free. They don't cost you anything. I know we have listeners right now from all over the country. No matter what state you are in, we want to be able to reach you when there's an important bill coming down for a vote, just like what we did in Wisconsin, so you can make your voice heard. We have emails pre-written for you. We give you your elected officials' phone numbers. We even give you a script you can read when you call them. You don't even have to think about what to say. Go to actforamerica.org right now. Sign up to receive our emails and action alerts.
Yeah, there's power in numbers. There's safety
That's
in
right.
numbers, and you guys have the momentum and the movement, which is why I just love plugging people into your organization. So congratulations on getting that done for all of us. But
Thank you.
you do deserve a pat on the back. One thing that your group wrote on Twitter, you guys wrote, not one illegal immigrant has the right to come to America and receive taxpayer money, period. I agree with you. I'm reading about Black communities being taken over in Chicago, New York neighborhoods being taken over, the New York City taking children out of school, giving $1,400 gift cards to illegals, free hotel stays, meals every single day, $10,000 lump sum. Meanwhile, we have veterans and homeless people. How can America's safety net programs and school systems handle this massive influx of new bodies?
We can't. That's why we are struggling in every area. I mean, the illegal criminal aliens are such a drain on our society. And now, they are changing, the left is changing the language. Now they're calling them new arrivals. New arrivals, give me a break. They are criminal aliens breaking the law to get into the country. They are lawless criminals. And meanwhile, it's your tax dollars, my tax dollars, our viewers' tax dollars who are funding these shenanigans and these things. Right now, if you want to go to New York, you have the hardest time finding a hotel room, not because they are all booked by Americans. It's because they are all being occupied by illegal criminal aliens, where our government is paying the hotels, 5-star hotels, $1,500 a night hotels that we barely we cannot afford. I'm not going to spend $1,500 a night on a hotel. I'm not that rich. And yet our government is paying hotels $1,500 a night to house these illegal criminal aliens in fancy schmancy hotels, 5-star hotels, paid for by our tax dollars. That's unacceptable. And that's why the American public needs to speak up. And here's an important point, Stephen, and I want to bring this up because somebody emailed me this morning responding to an action alert Act for America sent out today about the World Health Organization. There's a major decision coming at the end of the month. And they said to me, well, I already signed the petition, I'll share it with others. And I responded back, you need to call your elected representatives 3 times a week, at least 3 times a week. It's not enough that you called once and said, oh, I've done my job. And here's why. The left is bombarding Republican elected officials who are standing strong on these issues: immigration control, crime, standing with law enforcement, all these issues, national defense. The Republicans are very strong on these issues. Yet the Democrats are bombarding our elected officials by bombarding them with phone calls, calling 5 times a week per elected official, telling them you need to vote this or against that. On our side, Stephen, people make a phone call one time and they think, oh, I've done my job. I already called my member of Congress. And our side calls only the Republicans. They don't even bother calling the Democrats. Mm-hmm. And here's why this is wrong. You need to call both sides, and here's why your voice matters. Elected officials tally every phone call and every email, and they are counted one phone call or email as 1,000 people. And here is the science behind the numbers. People ask me all the time, why should I bother calling my elected official? They need to hear from 40 to 50,000 people before they even respond. Wrong. I worked with Congress for the last 22 years closely. And here is the science behind the numbers. They believe if they hear from 40 to 50 people, that's all it takes to make an issue their top priority. And here's the science behind the numbers. They believe if one person makes a phone call or writes a letter, he or she are representing 1,000 couch potatoes who feel the same way, but are too lazy to make a phone call or write an email, yet they vote on election day. That translates to 40 to 50,000 voters on election day. That can make or break an election. This is the power of your voice. So go to actforamerica.org right now. On our banner on the website, there's an action alert called Stop the Invasion. Click on that election Act Now campaign and contact your members of Congress. And you know what? Yes, you send them an email one day. Yes, you sign a petition, but we give you their phone numbers with a script. Please call them 3 times a week and call both Republicans and Democrats. And here's why they need to call the Democrats. And this is an important point because a lot of people say, I'm not wasting my breath on the Democrats. Here's what you need to understand. In Congress, there are those on the right that have their heels dug in, and you know exactly who they are. The Ted Cruz, the Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Matt Gaetz, those people, you're not going to change their mind. You've got the people on the left who dug their heels in, the Chuck Schumer, the Nancy Pelosi, the AOC, the Rashida Tlaib. You're not, the Dick Durbin, you're not going to change their mind. But you have the majority of the people in the middle whom I call sincerely undecided. And what I mean by that these are the people that lick their finger and stick it up in the air and see how the wind is blowing, and they vote accordingly. Your job is to create the biggest windmill machine. Our job is to mobilize every one of you so you can call the Democrat, so you can give them cover. So a Democrat who's new in Congress, who's not a big name like a Chuck Schumer, can go to leadership and say, look, I heard from 10,000 constituents this month about this issue. I'm going to lose my seat in November in this upcoming election unless I abstain. I cannot vote with you on this bill. That's how we are getting bills passed. And this is the power of your voice. Go to actforamerica.org. Take action right now on Stop the Invasion. We have so many bills about the border, Stephen. We send it to different places around the country. Go to Act Now. You have Act Now National, Act Now State. You can even narrow it by subject. You can say border and immigration and take action alert on every single Act Now campaign we have on the border.
You know, this gives me hope that we can actually do something.
Yes, we can.
Thank you for doing that. You know, your group kind of jokingly said, if you're better off today than you were 4 years ago under Trump, you're most likely an illegal immigrant. Now, under Trump, we had a booming economy, lower taxes, a safer border, higher wages compared to cost of living, and lower interest rates. How can Americans get back to living the American dream without having to sneak across the Mexico border in order to get some help from our government?
That's right. Elect President Trump. There is one man with a track record who can fix it. Under President Trump, Americans were doing great. Illegal criminal aliens were not doing so good because they had the stay in Mexico policy. Under Biden, Americans are doing bad, and illegal criminal aliens are living in five-star hotels with cell phones, with Nintendo games, with computers, ordering room service and a five-star hotel paid for by our tax dollar, while our own people are racking up credit card debt because they can barely pay their own bills. They're not making enough money to survive. They are scrambling, rubbing nickels together to eat. Gas right now, even in Virginia, it's like $3.55 a gallon, and that's for unleaded. And this is in Virginia. I was in California visiting family in California. The gas price is $8 for gas. It is crazy. This is what we have under Biden. And the only way this is going to change, if you want Americans to be put first and criminals be put last, we need to re-elect President Trump. It is as simple as that. That is what's best for the country.
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. It's, you know, I hate to even joke about it, but it is kind of funny, you know, like if you sneak in from Mexico, you're going to be treated better. People, that's the common sense answer. And yet the reality is we pay a lot in taxes. Every single person listening to this pays in taxes, whether that's property taxes, income taxes, taxes on your food, your car, everything. We're being taxed to death. And
Right.
You guys also wrote on your Twitter page, that your group said no taxation without deportation, hinting plainly that we shouldn't be paying taxes to a government that doesn't even have the respect to keep our country safe. I know that we can't skip paying our taxes because the IRS will come for us. Even Hunter Biden just found out you can't mess with the IRS. But what can we do? You know, we can't skip doing our taxes, but we do want taxation and representation. How do we get that? Again, is it just calling our elected officials over and over again?
My philosophy is if our elected officials are not going to see the light, we're going to make them feel the heat. The only way we're going to be able to change the system is to apply pressure on our elected officials. And look, I agree with you. I am all for paying taxes. Here's how I look at paying taxes. Taxes are the rent you pay to live in the great country you live in. You know, in Lebanon, when I lived in Lebanon, I didn't have to pay taxes. Well, you know what? Lebanon is Venezuela. Do I want to live in a Venezuela, a totally falling apart country where people are fighting, killing each other over a gallon of milk? And I'm talking about Lebanon, to feed their children? No, I would much rather pay taxes to live in the United States of America, where my freedom is protected, where I have a strong military, where my border is protected, where I have free speech, where I have the freedom to create businesses, to prosper, to live the American dream. But that's the American dream we want to preserve. We don't mind paying taxes if our government is doing its job. We are willing to do our job and honor our duty to our government to pay our taxes. But right now, our government is failing us on every front. We pay taxes. Our government has the border completely open, where terrorists are coming into our country, where our government now is rolling out the red carpet for them, paid for by our tax dollars. So our tax dollars are being misused to be spent on people that we do not agree with, who should not be in our country. We are paying to fund illegal criminal aliens who are bringing fentanyl into our country, who are killing Americans, who are murdering Americans, raping Americans, paid for by our tax dollars. So our tax dollars right now are used to enable criminals to kill Americans. What country, what nation, what people can stay silent watching something like this? But we're not going to be able to go up against Goliath, because the IRS is a powerful criminal agency. You know what? I don't hate anything in this world except for one thing. I hate the IRS. You cannot believe what I had to go through with the IRS when they targeted me, when they came after American, as soon as Biden won the election, they came to our doors. People have no idea what the IRS is doing to people. So I hate the IRS, but I pay my taxes because I pay my taxes so I can drive on good bridges. I pay my taxes as a rent to the great country I live in. We are doing our duty, but it's time for our government to do its duty to serve the American people. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is for us to vote people in office, or to apply pressure on our representatives in office to be able to keep the IRS in check. Don't give the IRS billions more in dollars to come after the American people. Make sure you put the IRS in check and take our money to build the wall. You know what? If our representative right now will come to the American public and they say, we're going to finish the Trump border wall and we want everybody to pitch in $10. Stephen, I guarantee you, people who don't even have $10 to give, they will borrow it from their credit card to give it to build the wall, to protect our country. That's why the American public is so frustrated with the status quo with our government. But again, that's exactly why I started Act for America. And that's exactly why I named the organization Act for America. Not think about America, not wish for America, not hope for America, not pray for America, but act for America. Because you can wish and you can hope and you can pray and you can think about your country, but if you don't take action, nothing happens. If you're watching, our viewers right now, I'm talking to you. If you are watching this program and hearing my passion, and if my message resonates with you and you don't take action, you have just been entertained. You might as well be watching Dancing with the Stars. We are talking about action to take back our country. Go to our website, actforamerica.org. Start a chapter in your community. We have chapters nationwide. Click on Get Involved. You can start a chapter in your community. You can register your group. If you already have a group up and running, register it with our organization so we can support you, so we can share our resources with you. We believe a rising tide lifts all boats. If you are a member of a church, start an Act in Faith chapter in your church. We will mentor you. We will support you. We will build you up. We will connect you with other people in your community so together we can take back our community. Become a member of Act for America if you are able. Stand with us as a member, as a proud member of Act for America. You'll get a pin. You can wear it on your clothing so proudly and share our message with your friends. That's how we're going to save our country.
Yeah. I thought it was very curious that Joe Biden wanted 80,000 new IRS agents. How about 80,000 people protecting the border? You don't have to collect taxes through 80,000 new IRS agents if you don't have a $500 billion liability for
Right.
illegal immigrants? It's just, it's such backwards thinking in
Yeah.
Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to leave Washington, D.C. and get your thoughts down in Georgia. The devil went down to Georgia, they say, right? So you have Fani Willis, the district attorney. She perjured herself on the stand. She's lied over and over again. She paid her lover over $700,000 with taxpayer money. She illegally paid him under the table. She got, a dozen free vacations, luxury vacations that you and I could never even dream of out of taxpayer money. And yet she says that Trump is the liar and that she wants Trump to die in jail. What are your thoughts on this Fani Willis case and this whole situation?
And by the way, she paid him in cash, because don't we all have about $700,000 laying in cash in our home, in the
Yes, of
couch,
course.
under the stove? Who's got that level of cash? I mean, do the Democrats believe we are that stupid? I mean, really? But here's what's happening. The Democrats are all covering up for each other. They all support each other. They all sing of the same sheet of music. I wish the Republicans lined up behind each other and stood behind President Trump the way the Democrats cover up for criminals, real criminals, like her. But here's the problem. The Democrats believe all they have to do is lie. All they have to do and just keep repeating the lie, and they don't budge. And they believe if you just keep repeat the lie, people will believe it. And the problem is most Americans are getting their news from TikTok. The Democrats are all on TikTok. They're getting the news from CNN, from MSNBC, from all these people that are feeding them the same lies with the same talking point. I mean, look what Hillary said yesterday when she was asked, I think it was Colbert or one of those nighttime shows where they asked her about the choices between Biden and Trump, that most people prefer Trump over Biden. And she's like, I can't believe people will even accept that. Biden loves people. He's empathetic to people. But Trump has been indicted with 90 felonies or something like that. So the choice is clear. I can't believe people will vote for Trump. I mean, the way they twist everything is unbelievable. So what they do is they find ways to basically throw crimes at Trump, convict him of those crimes. So now they can get on television and say, oh, he's got 90 felonies against him. How can anybody vote for somebody? The choice is clear. You've got, Father Joe, who loves everybody, Grandpa Joe, and you've got a criminal with 90 felonies against him. This is their logic. This is their end goal. This is why they all march together. But the Fani Willis example is an example that all Republicans should look at and understand. As much as the Democrats all line up behind each other and protect each other and all utter the same talking points, we Republicans, whether you like Trump or not, all need to line up behind each other and behind Trump, because our country is standing on a cliff. Whether you like Trump or not, we need to make sure we save our country at this point. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is for all of us to come together as one against a very organized enemy who wants to destroy us, America, as we know it, and that's the Democratic Party.
Yeah. Folks, if you pray for America and you pay for America, it's now time to act for America. Brigitte, tell us one more time, where can people go to learn how to take action instead of just hoping and wishing that things get better?
Thank you. Actforamerica.org. Does it get any easier than this? The name says it all. Actforamerica.org. Please go there, sign up to get our emails and action alerts, become a member, click on the membership, become a member, stand with us, support our work. Look what we just did in Wisconsin. We have passed this bill in 27 states. We are working on the remaining states so we can make sure we win the elections, to stopping the private funding of election. The ZuckerBucks is what I'm talking to, in case people missed it in the beginning of the show. We need you by our side. Please go to actforamerica.org. Do whatever you can do to stand with us, to support us, to get our emails. Our emails are free. They don't cost you anything. Sign up to receive our emails and action alerts. Share them with your friend and stand with us in every way you can.
Oh, man, you got me fired up and ready to take action. Folks, if you like this information, if you like these top level guests, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Brigitte, thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to put a link to actforamerica.org down below. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for having me.